Hey everybody, MrFlavorsmith here. Are you looking for an all-around awesome barbecue system? Honestly, I'm in love with this Weber 22-inch kettle system, but it doesn't need to be this. It can be another 22-inch kettle system because all the different aftermarket modifications and conversions I have will blow your mind. You can do so much with this. So stay with me to the end so you can see everything I have. Let's get to it now. All right, well, first things first. If you've been following me on my channel at all, you've probably seen a lot of this barbecue system. All it is a Weber Master Touch 22-inch kettle system. And I've just taken the legs off of it and I've thrown it on an aftermarket cart system that I got off of Amazon. And honestly, I love this thing. It just gives me so much room for just doing anything I really want to do. And I highly recommend it. But it just came from one of these. If you just have one of these, this is absolutely awesome. This is just a 22-inch Weber kettle. And you know what? You can pick these things up new for like $100 for like more of a base option to like $300 for a higher end option. But I also tell you, there are a ton of these on the used market. So look on your Craigslist, look on Facebook Marketplace, wherever you're gonna see people sell. I picked this one up right here last week for $40. Can't beat it. Okay, first things first. Every Weber 22-inch kettle system comes with a few standard things. One, obviously your hood, all right? On your hood, I don't know if all models have this, but it usually has a built-in thermometer, and then you're gonna have your top vent. You use this top vent for a lot of your fine-tuning adjustment when it comes to smoking meats and things like that. I usually keep the bottom at about a quarter closed, the bottom vent about a quarter closed, and then I'll do my fine tuning here, keeping this open most of the time, unless I need to bring that temperature back down, then I'll close this off a little bit. So that's pretty standard feature that's on there. Some of the Weber systems or some of the other non-Weber 22-inch kettle systems on their handle will have a heat deflector and some won't. I believe this is more on like your premium options, but I'm not 100% sure. Then on the inside, you've got your grill grate, okay? Nothing too fancy. This one was a Master Touch, so it was one of their more premium models. So it comes with a removable centerpiece. Also on each side, these fold up, and this is very convenient for when we're using coal baskets or we're using, an indirect heat and you wanna top off your coals without having to move your grill with your meat on it in order to do that. This is a great one. If you do have a Weber 22-inch, I recommend getting a grill like this to where you do have the removable center. You can use a vortex with this. You can use all sorts of different things with this. So I recommend getting that if that's going to be your first upgrade. Also, below that, down in the bottom, that is where the coals go. And lots of different ways of doing things with this. We're going to get into this, but this is where your coals are always going to go. Below that is your bottom vent. And it's easily adjustable from the bottom over here. That's full open. Okay, this is a quarter of the way open. This is halfway open. And then this is full open. It's a great system. I truly love this and the adjustability of it. I can fine tune in my heat down from 220 degrees Fahrenheit all the way cranking up to over 500 degrees. All right, now let's get into some of these other things I have for. These are the mods / conversions. Starting up top, we have a Santa Maria grill system. This thing is awesome. I love it for cooking tri-tip, for cooking chicken. You can do so much with this. It's a really universal system. And then I have over here, I have my smoke chamber. This was, I believe it was Only Fire smoke chamber. So I've done ribs in it, sausages. You can do so many things from this. It's more of like a barrel smoker design that allows you to convert everything over into that. It's really cool. And you just hang all their stuff from the racks up top there. And then when it comes to like rotisserie check-in, here's a rotisserie ring, but this is like a multi-purpose ring right here. The front comes off and then you can convert it over to a pizza oven and do wood fire pizza, which I have yet to do. Also, I just recently got a really thick 1/4-inch carbon steel griddle surface. And I've only used it once. I can't wait to get into this and do some smash burgers. Also, we have a lot of different stuff for heat management, your coal management systems. This is by Only Fire as well, and this is a coal basket, and this allows me to put it off to one side, and I can fill water in that trough that goes around. I can set this up for indirect cooking, for just cooking steaks and then doing a reverse sear, burgers, chicken, whatever you want to do. There's a drip pan that goes next to that. We'll get into that in a little bit. Here's your Weber coal baskets. These are just the cheap little Weber baskets that usually come with the premium Weber models, but you can get them. I think they're only like 20 or 30 bucks for the set. And these really help you out a lot. And I actually use these in the rotisserie, one on either side. And then over here for more coal management, this is kind of like a vortex, but I use it multiple ways. I use it like this with water right in the middle, and then I flip it over and I use it as a stand for this. It's like a little over 20-inch carbon steel pan that I use as a heat deflector for when I'm smoking and I'm doing the snake method. And then down here in this little water trough, I put water in there to keep everything nice and moist. And there's just a ton of options. So let's get into configuration number 1 first. So our first configuration for standard grilling would be coals all across the bottom, okay, for a complete direct heat. This is done on a lot of things. It's almost like a Santa Maria type thing without the benefit of the grill grate lowering and raising. So you're going to do this for something that's really hot and really fast. Tri-tip can be done like that. Chicken can be done like that. Steaks can be done like that. Burgers and hot dogs can be done like that. Carne asada, skirt steak can be done like that. But you really have to be on top of your meat and make sure that you're not burning it. So you're constantly flipping the meat over back and forth, and you're very engaged in that cook. So that's configuration number 1 for standard grilling. Configuration number 2 would be using Weber coal baskets or another brand of coal baskets, doesn't matter what it is. But you're able to move these around, space them out how you want. So you can do an indirect cook if you want, or a direct cook if you want. You can really do a lot with these little bad boys. They're very, very, very handy, very affordable. They're like $20 to $30, and on some of the Weber models, they actually are included with them. If you don't use these are great to use. And this will take, the 2 of these will take roughly a chimney stack full on your chimney coal starting system that you have. And then from there, you just take your grill grate, put it right back on top, just like that. For our third configuration under standard grilling, we are using an indirect coal basket. This one I believe is from Only Fire. It's a great little basket. You put all of your coals from your chimney in here, and it also includes a water trough right here. The water trough is really handy, and I feel it's crucial for a lot of your smoking meat type scenarios, because that moisture helps keep the pores of the meat open. That way all of the smoke molecules can penetrate into that meat deeply and give you that nice red smoke ring that we're after. Also, what's great about doing this is, let's put the grill back on. Now what you're able to do with this is you're able to slow cook your meats over here. That way that fat renders really well throughout the entire tissue of the meat. And then the last minute or so, you can put it and flip it over here for a reverse sear where your heat source is at, because the coals are right there and it gets it that nice, real hot reverse sear that you're gonna want, that gives it that nice little char. It's perfect for steaks, burgers, whatever. I usually cook all my meats about 95% of the way right here, and the last 5% I throw them on this for a couple minutes on each side and we're good to go. And if I'm using a charcoal basket like this, I like to put this in here. It's just a drip pan. It works really well for catching all of the drippings of whatever you're cooking, whether I'm doing smoked meatballs, hamburgers, steaks, fish, doesn't matter. I use this all the time, and it just sits perfectly right there. Also, the benefit of having the upgraded grill, you have these little wings right here on the grill that allow you to add more coal, water to your trough, wood chunks, whatever it is you want to add to it. It's really awesome. And also with that upgraded grill, you get that removable center. This is going to come in handy real quick here. What I like to do with this drip pan though, is I do like to cover it in foil just so it's easier for me to clean up. It is like a porcelain enamel coated drip pan, but still stuff likes to cook on there, so the foil is really nice to remove it. Our next standard grilling configuration modification is a vortex. These things are awesome. They come in a bunch of different sizes. This is one of the larger vortex style coal management systems. And check it out. On that upgraded grill with that removable center, just like that. And now you have all of your coals in the center. This is perfect for, I mean, it is 100% perfect for hot wings. I love cooking hot wings on here. A lot of people do ribs as well, but if you want to get a really, really crispy skin to that chicken, whatever chicken is you're doing, the vortex is crucial because the hot air from the coals, you've got your vent in the bottom, you open that up all the way, it hits those coals, it comes up, hits the top of our dome, and just gives you this nice super hot ring right around the edge here. But it's indirect, so it's not going to burn them real easily, and you can go like 30 minutes at a time with the wings there before you have to flip them. It's awesome, so awesome. Actually, I'd say about 20 minutes at a time. But the temperatures on this, you're gonna see like 900 degrees Fahrenheit temperatures here. So you're gonna see everything around here around that 500 degrees. 300 to 500 degrees. It works totally awesome. They make, Vortex specifically makes smaller ones that actually control the heat a little bit better, but I haven't had any problems with this larger style. All right, for our second main category, we're gonna go back in that grilling category, but we're going with a Santa Maria grill. This is a great little modification conversion. Allows you to cook Santa Maria style. Santa Maria became very popular in Santa Maria, California, so it really is the way California barbecuers love to barbecue. You're able to do a blanket coal bed along the bottom. That's ideal for this. You can use coal, you can use lump coal, you can use wood. Usually it's like post oak or red oak or coastal oak, something like that for your wood source. And it's a very active, a very engaging cook. Tri-tip is absolutely amazing on this. Chicken is awesome on this. I love to do tri-tip and chicken at the same time, and I do a mop basting, and I just mop them, get them nice and moist, flip them, mop them, get them nice and moist, and I just keep flipping it. And if my fire is too hot, I just pull that, raise it up, and I'm usually cooking around this height from the edge of the kettle here. And then once your bed of coal starts dying down, you don't want to add any more to it, just lower it back down. It's a really cool system, super conventional. You can do a lot of different meats or veggies on it, whatever it is that you're grilling. It's a lot of fun for parties. I highly recommend, if you have a Weber kettle or a 22-inch kettle system of some sort, to get a Santa Maria grill conversion. All right, configuration number 2. I like to use this coal management for my Santa Maria. I raise this up, locked into place. I use the vortex, but I invert it upside down. I put it right where I want to put it. Usually I put it all the way to the far side. That way I actually do have a little bit of a cooler spot. And this coal basket like this, an inverted vortex, allows me to use lump coal. I like to use lump coal a lot. And on Santa Maria, I like to use lump coal. So I feel it has a better flavor to it. And it's good to also throw in some briquettes or whatever, because you don't always have access to oak wood. I'm in Southern California, and it's just hard to find that stuff within the city. So doing something like this works out really, really good. And I love that configuration. Santa Maria is one of my very favorite systems. All right, category number 3, rotisserie. Here is your rotisserie system. This is also made by Only Fire, and it just sits on here just like that. Perfect. It is a multi-purpose unit. It is not only a rotisserie, but it is also a pizza oven. The front of this actually just comes off like this, and that is how you access the pizza. And we'll get to that in a second. But I just put that back on, just like this. There's a couple little tabs right here to where we lower these out, and this allows us to access the holes. We mount our motor right on the back. It just slips on there, and then it plugs into your electrical source. And then, whoa, whoa, whoa. We've got our rotisserie sword, and you just put it into the motor, you feed it into the motor like that, and you drop it just like that, and the motor just slowly spins this. This is a ton of fun. If you have never used a rotisserie extension, conversion, whatever for your system, rotisserie chicken is my favorite. It is a great way to cook chicken to get a ton of flavor in there, keep it moist. And how we keep it moist, because it's basically self-basting, so the juices, and if you're adding anything on top of it, if you're basting it at all with a mop sauce or something like that, as it turns, it's just self-basting, and it is so delicious, so tender, so juicy. It takes about 45 minutes, maybe an hour to cook. And then you can do a couple different things. You can do the whole blanket of coal across the entire bottom. A lot of people do that. I prefer using the coal baskets, the little coal baskets, one on either side. That for me is perfect, okay? And I take this one level higher. Not only am I normally doing the chicken right here, okay, but I'm also, when I do this, when I add the grill to it, and then I put this on, I'm actually able to, while I'm cooking this rotisserie chicken, I put chicken breast halves right on the bottom, just underneath it. And I'm able to cook like 4 big chicken breast halves underneath there. Or you can do legs, you can do thighs, you can do whatever. So I'm kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone on this one. This is a great system. As you can see, it's got a ton of use. Not only do I use it for this, but I'll get into what else I use it for. But that is the rotisserie system. This is made by Only Fire as well. I've been using it for a while now. I've cooked countless things with it, and it is absolutely amazing. All right, one of my newest additions to my system is this super thick, careful the way I put this in here. This is a 1/4 inch carbon steel griddle. And the way I've used it, I've only used it once. I have a lot of projects for this one in the upcoming videos, but the way I use it is I have an opening or the handle right next to me and one on the other side. This allows me to cook my hot stuff on this side and my cooler stuff on this side. And the way I'm using this is I'm using one of these baskets underneath here. So sitting underneath there, that way I have a hot spot and then everything else kind of cools off and I've got a range of heat to play with on here. And it works really well that way. I tried doing blanket coal all the way underneath, all along the bottom. And what it ended up doing was giving me a crazy big hot spot right here. And it was always at about 600 degrees. It was super, super hot. So when I tried it again and I put the coal basket here, that super hot spot of like 500-600 degrees was right here. And then I was able, it diminished all the way down to like 375 to over here. But I tell you what, this is a heavy duty piece of steel, and it has not warped on me. I went through, it was just raw steel, and I did a cure. I cured it about 10 times, and I just would turn it and heat it and turn it and heat it, and I'd coat it with oil and turn it and heat it and coat it. So real cool system. Like I said, I have a lot of projects planned for this one. I think everybody should have a griddle. This just really helps complete your outdoor cooking system. All right, next on our list is our pizza cooking system. And we are going to take this 180 coal basket. We're going to stick that in there because we are going to put either wood in there for wood fire. I'm more than likely going to be doing lump coal in there with probably some hickory or something like that, hickory chunks on top of that. And then from there, we're going to put our grill grate on. We're going to put our pizza stone in there. We are going to take our Only Fire rotisserie slash pizza ring extension. We're going to take the front off to access our cooking area like that. We are going to put the hood back on, and we are going to have our vent towards the front. And then now we can access it from the front, pick up our pizza and move it around. All right, I have not used this system yet. I will be honest with you. And the reason why I have not used this system yet is because inside here, you have 2 different settings for where the grill grate can go. And I use this about 90% of the time as an extension ring for my smoking system, which I'll get to in a second. And I put the grill grate on the very top here. But down inside here is a lower setting. And so I feel that you need to kind of dismantle some of these things and really wedge that grate in there. And it gets it up to this area so you can easily access everything. And that's the reason why I haven't used the pizza system yet. It's just, for me, I found that it seems to be a little bit too much work to change things around, but Somebody else might have a better solution for that, but it does work. You just need to make a decision. You're going to go with this, you're going to go with the rotisserie, you're going to go with the pizza setup. And I'm not a big fan of pizza, so we just haven't done that yet. But that would be kind of your standard setup, with the exception of, you know, we would have it at this level, and then you would have the hood back on, and you'd have the vents towards the front. Okay, I have seen some other people go one step further, and they say this works really, really good. And I have not even put this on here yet to try, but I have been told if you put the griddle on here and then put your hood on there, what it does is it just helps bake the top of that pizza even better, because now the heat from the back that's coming up from here from our coal basket hits that griddle and travels across the top, so it evenly disperses the heat and helps really cook all your ingredients on top and makes it just for a perfect pizza. I have yet to try this out yet in any configuration, but those are the two different options you can do with all this different gear. All right, so now we're going to talk about our standard smoking system. And what I like to use for a standard smoking system is I like to put a snake in here. I really like a 2x1 snake. So that's 2 square briquettes on the bottom and 1 on top. And I lay that 1 on top flat, and I stack the 2 side by side vertically. And then I'll take a little bit of wood chunks and just run it along the inner ridge here on top of the coals. That way I get a nice burn. And I can cook and do a very slow and low cook with that for like over 12 hours. All right, but through movie magic, let's get that snake in here. All right, and there you have it. That is our 2x1 briquette snake with a little bit of hickory wood chunks along the top, inner or outer rim. I like to use B&B charcoal for this. The reason why I like to use B&B charcoal is B&B charcoal, the shape of the briquette is a little more square than anything else. A lot of briquette have a pillow shape to them. They're a little bit more of a radius here, and so it makes for stacking them really nice and tight. Very hard to do. Not to say it can't be done, but I like B&B. Also, I like the way it burns. It burns very consistent. It burns nice and long and hot, and it's just a very good briquette that I like for this. And I tell you what, this snake right here, this will probably get me about 225 to 250 degrees Fahrenheit for close to 5 hours. If you want, you can go almost all the way around with leaving space in the middle, and that will get you really, really close to 24 hours of cook time, as long as you're managing your vents properly. And so what I do by that, to keep it low and slow, I let it get to temperature, having the top vent completely open, and then the bottom vent I have about a quarter of the way open. And then once I get to temperature, it usually wants to get about to 275, and then I take that top vent and I just close it to where it's about half of the way open. Sometimes just a quarter of the way if I want to get closer to that 225, but leaving that bottom vent at a quarter of the way open. This is a great little system. Then from there, a lot of times what you're going to do, if you want to keep it nice and clean, this is a small one, but you would put your drip pan right in the center here, and then on top of that, you would just put your grill grate right there, and then this is your heat source. So what we're going to do is we're going to put, believe it or not, the thermometer on this side, and we're going to keep our vent away from the heat source. That way the smoke has to come up through those coals, travel over our cooking area, and out through the top. And this will get us an indirect heating. This is a very standard system that a lot of people use. I take it one step further. Let's do that now. All right, now using that snake method, I'm going to show you how I like to smoke stuff. I take this vortex, I invert it, I turn it upside down right here. Okay, I take this it's like just over 20-inch cook pan. It's about 1 3/4 inches deep. Okay, I use this as a heat diffuser. Now this is made out of high carbon steel. That's why you can see some of that patina going on there. That's from it kind of just getting cured. So what this does is, as the snake is burning, the heat is coming up and over, and it's gonna protect my cook area. Okay, and then I take this stainless steel pan that's used in surgical operations to hold some of your tools and everything. I fill that up with water. That way I've got moisture in there, and all I do is, as the snake is burning, I can feel it from the side here. You can actually feel the heat, or use an infrared thermometer and just shoot the side of it and see the hot spot and where your burn is at. And then I just move this accordingly. But honestly, a burn like this, that's this long, will take probably 2.5, maybe 3 hours. So I normally don't really need to move it but once or twice. Then from there, I take the rotisserie extension, where I'm able to plug up all the holes and all the vents and everything, and I put my grill grate on top there. Now what this is doing is it's really elevating my cook surface away from that heat source, and that smoke just wraps around. It travels up the sidewalls, over the dome and around, and really gets everything perfect. And then I just put my hood on. Okay, my heat source, remember, is over here, and I have my vent over here. And I close my bottom vent to about 1/4 of the way open, and I keep this fully open. And I will do that. Now, in that configuration, it's usually pushing around 275 degrees, 250 degrees, just kind of depends. But normally it's on the hotter side when I have this top vent open. If I want to get down to that 225, I let it get up to that temperature first, and then I close this top vent, keeping the bottom vent at 1/4 of the way open always. And I really use this for my fine tuning, and it works really, really good. And all I like to do too is I like to put a probe on the grill surface area next to where I'm cooking everything, so probably like right here, and then also inside whatever the item is that I'm cooking, I throw another probe in there. But this is how I smoke like 90% of the stuff that I do, and it works out really, really, really good. All right, so that was like number 6. I'm thinking now we're gonna get to the other smoking method. So let's take it apart. All right, and number 7, the final, our barrel smoker. All right, and number 7, our barrel smoker, using the same snake coal method. We're gonna do the same thing we've been doing. We're gonna use an inverted vortex. We're gonna butt it right up against the coals. We're gonna use our 20-inch heat diffuser / pan. We're gonna use our water trough. We're gonna put it just like that. Then, just to be safe, in case any of the meat falls off onto there, it's just gonna hit that grill. And then here is our smoke chamber. We put that on. And then now you hang all of your meat. So I've done, I wanna say like 6 rack of ribs. I've hung them from here. And I tell you what, if you need to get it even taller, which I don't necessarily recommend doing for ribs, because what'll end up happening if you do like a full slab of rib, once they start to get tender, they're gonna wanna fall off of the hooks. But if you want to, or let's say you're hanging a lot of sausage or something like that, you wanna get a little bit higher, guess what? Throw the rotisserie ring on first, and then throw the chamber on there, and then your hood. Now you have a ton of space right here. You can hang anything you want on that. I couldn't even get that in the camera all the way. Look at that. It is a huge system now. You've got a lot of room to do a lot of different things. And you can kind of see what's going on by this little side door. Opens everything up. Another option is if you want to get really creative and you want just racks in there, you can go ahead and put racks in there. There's pegs throughout all of this. There's a peg right here, a peg right here, and then you can put it up top. So you can stack this with rack and put in all sorts of different items in there to smoke it. I haven't used this a ton with the exception of ribs. I really liked it with ribs. The way I was able to do ribs is I went a little bit hotter on the bottom. I used that inverted vortex, and then with the water trough, I put that in the middle, and I used lump coal, and I cooked 6 rack of ribs, 4 or 6 rack of ribs in about 3 hours. It worked out really, really good. I went super hot on it, so it didn't take all day. But I tell you what, this is a great, great system. You can, with all this stuff, you can really do anything you want. It's super, super cool. Let's take it apart. There goes the smoke chamber, there goes the ring, and this is what it looks like with just the smoke chamber on there. And my heat source is on this side, on this side of the kettle, so right where that thermometer gauge is at, which is pretty much useless for us, just because of the way we cook. And then I have my top vent on this side, on the opposite side of the heat source. And like I said, it's a great little system. You can do whatever you want with it. And back to our standard system. Weber 22-inch kettle. Truly the transformer of your backyard barbecues. All right, everybody, well, that just about sums it up for everything I have for my Weber 22-inch kettle system and all the different conversions and modifications I've currently done for it. There's one more thing I would like to add to my collection, and that is maybe a 24 28-inch wok system that will sit right on the center of my grill. I'll remove out that centerpiece and be able to put the wok in there. It'll stick out around the edges, and I can do some really awesome Asian dishes with that. But that is in the pipeline for down the future right now. I love all you can do with this. This truly is the transformer of your backyard barbecue systems. Please, if you found any value to this video at all, do me a huge favor so I can continue making content like this for you, and like and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, live a life of flavor.